Now that we have the broadcast append later to method, we're going to create two more methods. So we're going to create the broadcast prepend later to method and the broadcast replace later to methods. We won't be able to create a broadcast remove later to method because if we destroy the resource, we won't be able to retrieve it later in a job in an after destroy commit callback. So let's go ahead and create the broadcast prepend later to method. And it's actually exactly the same thing as for the broadcast append later to method. We're going to set default arguments here for the target and for the rendering. And we are going to delegate to the broadcast prepend later to method for the TurboClone streams channel. So let's create this broadcast prepend later to method here, and it's actually exactly the same thing as for the broadcast append later to method, but we're going to use the action of prepend, and this should actually work. So let's move on to the next method. What we want to do is broadcast replace later to method. So we're going to add this later here, and we keep setting the same sensible default arguments. So for the target, it's actually this time the model itself, as we want to target. For example, if we are calling this method on the article of ID 1, then the target will be the DOM ID of the article of ID 1. And so we keep delegating the behavior to the TurboClone streams channel. So let's go ahead and create the method. So it's actually exactly the same logic one more time. What we're going to do is that we're going to create the method broadcast replace later to, and this time the action is replace. So this should work as expected. We're just going to restart the Rails server and to create a little test in the console to make sure that it works like we want. So let's take the article number 23, for example. So I'm going to find the article number 23 and I'm going to update its content to being something else. So article update content is something else. And when we save, we should see that the article was successfully updated. So let's have a look at what happened. We have this after update commit callback. And so when the transaction was committed, the update transaction, we enqueued TurboClone streams action broadcast job with the arguments that we set in the method. So the stream name is articles, the action is replace. The target is the article number 23 itself. So we can see it here. And for the locals, we have the article key with the article 23 value, and the partial is once again articles article. When the job is actually executed, we can see that we render the articles article HTML view, and that the HTML is actually broadcasted by action cable to the articles stream as expected. And if we have a closer look at the generated HTML, we can see that the target is indeed the article, the DOM ID of the article number 23, so this article here, and the action is replace. So we successfully replace the HTML of the old article 23 with this new template here. So this is how it works. And we're going to do one more test. This time we're going to create a new article and make sure that the created article is prepended to the list of articles. So let's go ahead and create a new article with the content of prepended article, for example. And when we save the article, we can see that it is successfully prepended to the list here. And if we have a look at the logs, we can see that when the transaction is committed here, the insert into transaction, we can see that we enqueued our action broadcast job with the arguments that we defined. So the stream name is once again articles, but the action is prepend and the target is articles. For the locals, we have the same thing. So an article key with the article number 24 value, and the partial here is once again articles article. And so when the job is performed, we are rendering the partial and then broadcasting to the article stream the HTML that is the result of the rendering of the partial with the locals that we had before. So this works exactly as expected, and in the next video we will write some tests to make sure that this behavior really works as expected.